betting the Breeders' Cup presented by FanDuel, giving you all the insight you need for Future Stars Friday. Taking a look at the TV schedule, it all begins with the Grade 1 Juvenile Turf Sprint at 3 Eastern Time on USA. The NetJets Juvenile Fillies Turf, FanDuel Juvenile presented by TAA, giving you an early look at the Kentucky Derby favorite. And we wrap things up with the ultra contentious Juvenile Turf at 5:40 Eastern Time. Hello and welcome to Keeneland Racecourse. Britney Eurton alongside Nick Luck and handicapper Matt Bernier. We see these 5 races, competitive 2-year-olds taking the stage. So I require each of you to come up with a lock, surefire winner, a value play, and then I need something that is going to absolutely blow up the tote board. That is the bomb. So, Mr. Nick Luck, to my left, we will start with you. Who is your lock play on Future Stars Friday?
I can accomplish all these missions. First of all, the lock for Friday is Meditate in the Juvenile Fillies Turf. Simple case of best horse wins race. Brittany, really good form from Europe. I don't think the locals are a stellar bunch. Meditate for Aidan O'Brien.
Yeah, but what about Aidan O'Brien's record in that race?
European record in the race, on the whole, hasn't been brilliant relative to the other juvenile races. But I think this time, Meditate stands above. She's got very good form from Europe at the highest level. That's enough.
Let's see how Matt counters that. So, Meditate in the Juvenile Fillies Turf. Matt, where are you going?
I mean, I wish it was more creative, but Cave Rock in the Juvenile. He's the fastest horse coming into the race. He's proven going 2 turns. He's got the pedigree. He's got the connections. And I think he's going to work out the right trip. He's probably 3-5, 2-5 when all is said and done. I just don't see Cave Rock losing.
I'm with you. That's where I went. I went Cave Rock. I know it is a easy play there. Bob Baffert has a great record in the race, but undefeated. Already been 2 turns, fastest as Matt says. You argue with us at all on that one?
No argument there.
No, okay,
Cave Rock.
so we move on. All right, everybody's lock picks are in. Value. I don't know. What do you consider to be a value play? What price do you want?
Well, a value play really is just much bigger than the horse ought to be. You could argue that Cave Rock's a value play if you really want. If you think the horse should be 1-5 and he's 3-5, he's a value play. But in this instance, I'm going with a horse called Persian Force. In the first race, it's newly upgraded to elite level Grade 1, the Juvenile Turf Sprint. This is a horse who has been running at the highest level his last 3 starts. He's been running against some of the best juveniles in Europe. I think this is going to be a burn-up, this race, run at a very fast tempo. He's classy enough to stay with them early, but he sees the distance out really well and will be finishing very strongly. Add that to the class that he's got, and I think Persian Force is the one.
Matt, he's Euro-biased right now. What is this? Where are you going with your value?
What do you expect?
Juvenile Fillies Turf. I know Nick's lock is in there, but I think G. Laurie is interesting for Graham Motion. This is going to be her first time with blinkers. She picks up a European rider in William Buick. And I thought she just didn't have any opportunity in that run-up at Woodbine and then Talma most recently. Her career debut at Colonial. For Graham Motion, who is typically conservative with long-distance turf runners, for her to win the way she did that day, I think speaks volumes about her potential. She's 12-1 on the morning line. Selfishly, I'd like a little bit more, but I'm unfortunately afraid that she's going to go lower than that. But I do think she'll offer some value.
The Talma runners have fared well in that race. We'll discuss that one a little bit more. My value pick, I'm actually going the opposite of what you took. Tyler's Tribe. It's a really great story. We'll cover that on USA. But Tyler's Tribe, by Sharp Azteca, has never stepped on the turf course before. He is fast, and I think he is fast enough to get to the front and never look back. The question mark is the grass, of course, but Sharp Azteca is 21% with turf runners.
Isn't this a case of Tyler's Tribe either wins by daylight or finishes last?
Yes, probably.
This is the pick. So this is what you're playing, isn't it? A horse who is either going to run completely off his face and blitz the rest of the field or just not handle the surface at all.
I think he'll be able to do exactly what he does on the dirt. He's undefeated. He wins by open lengths. Translate that to the turf course. So my value, and I think we're getting maybe 12-1 on that horse, 15-1 or so. Okay. Now we want to blow up the tote board. And this, the Juvenile Turf Sprint, we've seen some massive prices in some of those races, not necessarily the Juvenile Turf Sprint, but I want a price that is, we're going to walk away saying, oh, that was great. My pockets are loaded.
Okay, but you want a bomb pick, and I'm going for a bomb pick in the Juvenile Fillies. On the main track.
Oh, on the main track. Okay.
Yeah, on the main track. In the Juvenile Fillies, I'm going for Grand Love. I think this is anybody's race. All the balls are in the air. I just think she was so impressive on her debut. She had realistic excuses to blow out next time, but I don't think it was stamina. She's bred for stamina. She's by the great gun runner, whose progeny have excelled this season.
He's been unbelievable.
Exactly. Probably the best start for any stallion just about in modern history. That's by the by. I just think she made such a deep impression on me on her first start. The numbers came back well. The speed figures came back well. I'm prepared to forgive the one poor run, and at maybe 20-1.
Yeah.
I think she's the play for top connections.
Something of that nature.
For top connections.
Okay. Grand Love in the juvenile race for Nick. Matt, where are you going? How are you going to blow up the tote board?
I know for certain my horse is going to be a price. Whether or not he can run, we'll find out. The Juvenile Turf Reckoning Force. This horse was one of the favorites in the local prep for the Juvenile Turf. That was the Bourbon a couple weeks ago for Brendan Walsh. He used to be in Joseph O'Brien's barn. He ran at Saratoga. He ran really well at Kentucky Downs. And unfortunately in the Bourbon here, got away slowly, got pinched back, ran a little bit greenly in behind runners. Blinkers go on for the first time on Friday afternoon. He's going to be every bit of that 20-1, if not larger than that. I'm thinking he might be even into the 30 range. Maybe he can't win, because there are some good horses in there, especially Silver Knot. But I do think Reckoning Force is one that could hit the board at a big number.
Okay, we're all going 20-1 shots because that's where I landed as well. Where Matt's value pick comes, the same race as well, the Natalma Stakes. I'm going with the winner of that race. Last call, 20-1, so taking the Canadian runner. The Natalma runners have done very well in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. So, Juvenile Fillies Turf, I should say. Pizza Bianca finished second in the race last year, came back to win. I think this is going to be a big price, 20-1, if not float up. So I'm going to go with the Natalma winner as my bomb play.
And you've got Frankie Dettori.
Yeah. Frankie Dettori, come on. You don't need to say anything more than his name.
Exactly.
You all are being quite nice to each other. No heckling with any of these selections?
No, I think Nick is spot on in a couple of these spots. Now, again, he knows the Europeans a little bit more than we do. We're used to seeing the domestic horses. I guess my question for Nick would be, is there any one European other than your sort of value play in here that you're really intrigued by?
Yeah, there is. I mean, in that Juvenile Turf sprint, I think Mischief Magic's a very interesting runner because I think he's moving forward at the right time. And he could take advantage of a very fast early pace. And it'll also give us an early indicator, Matt, as to where we're at with the Charlie Appleby runners. Remember last year, he went 3 for 3 in the Breeders' Cup? And, you know, they weren't all horses we necessarily expected to win. His record in North America is ridiculous. And as you were saying to me a little earlier today, I've just given up trying to get him beaten.
I'm at the point now where if he's in a race, if he has a runner, you have to respect him.
Yeah, and this is a horse that he likes, we like. My issue with him, and the reason I sided with Persian Force, is that I thought that Mischief Magic might just get a bit too far back on what he's done of late. But if he can take a hand here, and on class, I don't think he'll be too far away, then stand by. Appleby could have another great couple of days.
But can he continue at this red-hot pace? That is the question. Also, the question is, this pick 3 sequence that we have available on Future Stars Friday, Matt, I know that you got involved in it. Very appealing with all of these runners. Yeah. Big fields.
Yeah, and the other thing to keep in mind about this Turf Pick 3 sequence, Britt, on Friday is it's a $3 base bet. So we're not talking about sort of your 50 cent or your $1. This is going to be a play that might cost you a little bit. But I think accordingly, you got to be a little bit sharp with your handicapping and try to narrow it down some. So we start with the Juvenile Turf Sprint. I'm going to go 2-6 in here. It's an instance where I believe in Wesley Ward in Turf Sprints. He's got Love Reigns, the filly. But I'm also going to use Nick's horse in here, Persian Force, who I think has a big chance, especially given the potential pace scenario of that race. The second leg of the sequence is the Juvenile Fillies Turf, going 4 deep in here. We're going to go with the 4, Free Look, the 5, Pleasant Passage, both coming out of New York, the 11, G. Lori, the horse I already talked about, and the 13, Jagera. Don't sleep on this one. Ran in the Alcibiades on dirt most recently, but was spectacular at Saratoga on turf in 2 starts prior. Hopefully I'm alive going into the Juvenile Turf, and if that's the case, I should be sitting on a decent ticket, especially if I can get Reckoning Force home. But just in case the favorite is too good for Charlie Appleby, I'll include Silver Knot as well. So all told, this is a $48 play for a $3 base bet, 2x4x2.
All right, I like it. We're going to keep an eye on that $48 investment. You heard it from all of us. Our lock play, our value play, and our bomb. Make your own decisions as well. Really exciting wagering options coming up on Future Stars Friday. Thanks for joining us. This is Betting the Breeders' Cup. Don't forget that you can wager on all of this great racing action via the FanDuel app. So new FanDuel customers, bet the Breeders' Cup and bet up to $100 back if your horse doesn't win. How about that? You've been watching Betting the Breeders' Cup.